Letter 16. My dear Father, while I write, the city is agitated like a tumultuous sea. The loud murmurs of the multitudes in the streets and even in the distant marketplace reach my startled ears. A squadron of Roman cavalry has just thundered past towards the temple, where the uproar is greatest, for a rumor of an insurrection begun among the people has come to Pilate the procurator. I will relate to you the circumstance in detail. Yesterday, Mary's cousin, John, returned and came unexpectedly into the hall of the fountain in the rear of the house, where we were all seated in the cool of the vines. Uncle Amos was in the act of reading to us from the prophet Jeremiah, a prophecy relating to the Messiah that is to come, nay, that is come, dear father, when John appeared. Mary's blushes welcomed him and showed how dear he was to her. Uncle Amos embraced and kissed him and seated him by us and called for a servant to bathe his feet, for he was dusty and travel-worn. From him, we learned that his beloved master, Jesus, had reached Bethany and was reposing from his fatigues at the hospitable, though humble house of Lazarus, Mary, and Martha. When we heard this, we were all very glad, and Uncle Amos particularly seemed to experience the deepest satisfaction.
"If he come into Jerusalem," said he warmly, "he shall be my guest. Bid him to my roof, O John, that my household may be blessed in having a prophet of God step across its threshold." "I will tell my beloved master thy wish, Rabbi Amos," answered John. "Doubtless, as he has no home nor friends in the city, he will remain under your roof."
"Say not no friends," I exclaimed. "We are all his friends here, and fain would be his disciples."
"What? Rabbi Amos also?"
cried John, with a glance of pleasure and surprise at the venerable priest of God.
"Yes, I am ready. After all that I have seen and heard, I am ready to confess him a prophet sent from God." "He is far more than a prophet, O Rabbi Amos," answered John. "Never prophet did the works Jesus does. It seems that all power is at his command. If you witnessed what I witness daily as he traverses Judea, you would say that he was Jehovah descended to earth in human form." "Nay, do not blaspheme, young man," said Rabbi Amos with some severity of reproof. John bowed his head in reverence to the rebuke of the rabbi, but nevertheless answered respectfully and firmly, "Never man did like him. If he be not God in the flesh, he is an angel in flesh invested with divine power."
"If he be the Messiah," I said, "he cannot be an angel, for are not the prophecies clear that the Messiah shall be a man of sorrows? Is he not to be the seed of the woman, a man and not an angel?"
"Yes," answered John. "You remember well the prophecies. I firmly believe Jesus to be the Messiah, the Son of God. Yet what he is more than man, what he is less than God, is incomprehensible to me and to my fellow disciples. We wonder, love, and adore. At one moment we feel like embracing him as a brother dearly beloved. At another, we are ready to fall at his feet and worship him. I have seen him weep at beholding the miseries of the diseased wretches which were dragged into his presence, and then with a touch, with a word, heal them, and they would stand before him in the purity and beauty of health and strong manhood." "And yet," said Nicodemus, a rich Pharisee who entered as John was first speaking and listened without interrupting, "and yet, young man, I heard you say that Jesus, of whom you and all men relate such mighty deeds, has remained at Bethany to recover from his fatigue. How can a man who holds all sickness in his power be subject to mere weariness of body? I would say unto him, Physician, heal thyself." This was spoken with a tone of incredulity by this learned ruler of the Jews, and stroking his snowy beard, he waited of John a reply. "So far as I can learn the character of Jesus," replied John, "his healing power over diseases is not for his own good. He uses his power to work miracles for the benefit of others through love and compassion. Being a man with this divine power dwelling in him for us, he is subject to infirmities as a man. He hungers, thirsts, wearies, suffers as a man. I have seen him heal a nobleman's son by a word, and the next moment seat himself, supporting his aching head upon his hand, looking pale and languid, for his labors of love are vast, and he is often overcome by them. Once Simon Peter, seeing him ready to sink with weariness after healing all day, asked him and said, Master, thou givest strength to others, why suffer thyself when all health and strength are in thee as in a living well to be weary? It is not my desire to escape human infirmities by any power my Father hath bestowed upon me for the good of men. Through suffering only can I draw all men after me," he replied.
John said this so sadly, as if he were repeating the very tones in which Jesus had spoken it, that we all remained silent for a few moments. I felt tears fill my eyes, and I was glad to see that the proud Pharisee Nicodemus looked moved. After a full minute's serious pause, he said,
"This man is doubtless no common prophet. When he comes into the city, I shall be glad to hear from his own mouth his doctrines, and to witness some potent miracle." "Prophet he is, without doubt,"
answered Amos.
"It is not the question now whether he be a prophet or not, for the hundreds he has healed are living witnesses that he has the spirit and power of the old prophets, and is truly a prophet. The question that remains is whether he be the Messiah or not."
Nicodemus slowly and negatively shook his head and then answered,
"Messias cometh not out of Galilee."
At this moment, a sudden, wild, joyful cry from Mary thrilled our nerves, and looking towards the door, we saw her folded in the arms of a young man whom I had never seen before. My surprise had not time to form itself into any definite explanation of what I saw. When I beheld the young man, who was exceedingly handsome and the picture of health, after kissing the clinging Mary upon her cheeks, leave her to throw himself into the arms of Rabbi Amos, crying,
"My father, my dear father!"
My uncle, who had stood amazed and wonderingly gazing on him as if he could not believe what his eyes beheld, now burst into profound expressions of grateful joy, and as he clasped the young stranger to his heart, fell upon his neck and wept, with scarcely power to articulate the words.
My son, lost but found again. This is the Lord's doing and is marvelous in our eyes."
John also embraced the newcomer, and the ruler stood silent with wonder. While I was looking bewildered upon the scene, Mary ran and said to me, with tears of gladness shining in her dark, fine eyes,
"It is Benjamin, my lost brother, beloved ADINA."
"I did not know you had a brother," I answered in surprise.
"We have long regarded him as dead,"
she replied with mingled emotions.
7 years ago he became lunatic and fled to the tombs without the city, where he has long dwelt with many others who were possessed with devils. For years he has never spoken to nor known us. But oh, now behold him. It seems a vision. See how many noble like himself he is, with the same intelligent, smiling eyes."
She then flew to take him by the hand and lead him toward me, all eyes being fixed upon him as if he had been a spirit. When he saw their wondering gaze, he said,
"It is I, both son and brother to those dearest to me. I am in my right mind and well. Who has effected this change so extraordinary, O my son?"
inquired Rabbi Amos with trembling lips, and keeping his hand on Benjamin's shoulder as if he feared he would vanish away.
"It was Jesus, the prophet of the highest,"
answered he with solemn gratitude. "Jesus!" we all exclaimed in one voice.
"I could have said so,"
answered John calmly.
"Rabbi Nicodemus, thou knowest this young man well. Thou hast known him in childhood and beheld him in the madness of his lunacy among the tombs. Dost thou doubt now whether Jesus be the very Christ?"
Nicodemus made no reply, but I saw from the expression of his face that he believed.
"How was this done to thee, young man?"
he asked with deep and visible emotion.
"I was wandering near Bethany this morning,"
answered the restored one with modesty,
"when I beheld a crowd which I madly followed. As I drew near, I beheld in their midst a man whom I had no sooner cast my eyes upon than I felt seize me an ungovernable propensity to destroy him. The same fury possessed 7 others, my comrades in madness, and together we rushed upon him with great stones and knives in our hands. The crowd gave way and fell back aghast and called him to save himself, but he moved not, but left alone in a wide space stood calmly awaiting us. We were within a few feet of him, and I was nearest, ready to strike him to the earth, when he quietly lifted one finger and said, 'Peace!' We stood immovable, without power to stir a foot, while our rage and hatred increased with our inability to harm him. We howled and foamed at the mouth before him, for we then knew that he was the Son of God come to destroy us. "Come out of the men and depart quickly," he said in a tone of command, as if to us, but really to the demons within us. At this word, I fell at his feet in a dreadful convulsion, and my whole body writhed as if it had been wrestling with an invisible demon. Jesus then stooped and laid his hand upon my brow and said, "Son, arise. Thou art made whole." At these words, a black cloud seemed to be lifted from my mind. The glory of a new existence appeared to dawn upon my soul, while his voice melted my heart within me. Bursting into tears, the first I have shed for 7 years, I fell at his feet and kissed and embraced them. When Benjamin had done speaking, we all gave glory to God, who had given him back to us, and who had sent so great a prophet among men. I commence this letter, dearest Father, by an allusion to a great commotion which is agitating the whole city. But as I have taken up so much of this letter in relating what passed yesterday in the hall of the fountain, I will leave the account of the tumult for my next letter, which I shall write this evening. May the God of our fathers be with you and bless you and the holy people of the promise. ADINA.